Hey everybody, I wanted to show you this is one of my first builds. It was a MS441 I bought out of the junkyard for $23. It had a lot of problems. The top was smashed, the muffler was smashed in, the cylinder had a bad spark plug port in it, where the spark plug was stripped out, threads were gone, the cylinder was scored. And so what I did is I built this pretty cheap. It's a non-Mtronic, it's fully adjustable carburetor. At the time, this was a couple of years ago, I bought a big bore kit from Holz Forma and put the 52mm top end and piston on it. Surprisingly, it's been pretty decent. But I did buy the saw out of a junkyard and had to reuse a lot of parts and buy a lot of new parts. So, but nothing too insane or too crazy. But, you know, was battle born and battle worn before I bought it. And so, you know, I added this pre-filter. It really helps. I keep a good spark plug in it and keep it up to tune. But some of the things that were kind of hard to come by was, first of all, these little clips on the air cleaner cover. They're cheaper to buy at your dealer than on eBay. The guys on eBay are thieves with them. So just go down and purchase them from your dealer. They're a lot cheaper there. But the AV on these is famously bad, just like the MS500. It's real sloppy. These came with these foam blocks that go in the AV, and as you can see, I tried to reuse this one. I got about a year and a half out of it, and it's 2 years now, and it's blown a hole through it, and it doesn't do a lot to hold the body of the saw still, and I get a lot of flop. Luckily though, like the front of the case was slightly worn out down here, and I was able to stick like an 028 bushing for their AV in there, and it's hard rubber. It keeps it pretty solid with this spring setup. Normally a foam block goes in here. Well, the other day I was watching a video from West Coast Saw, and Mr. Gordy was doing a review on his kit for the suspension felling kit for the 661, and so I went ahead and bought one from him. It's a polyurethane, and the fittings themselves seem very stout compared to the foam blocks that you normally get, and this one looks a lot like the one that's worn out in my saw. So I thought, well, that would be a benefit if it fit my 441 as well as for the 661 guys. And so they sent me this bushing kit and a sticker and a Oregon flyer in here. Very nice to send all that stuff with it. And but if this bushing works out, it'll really save me a lot of heartache. I'm going to pop the old one out and see if the new one fits. So, as you can see, I got the old one out, and it was kind of heat welded in there. I had to pry on it, and it immediately began to crumble like a piece of toast. It's very brittle and worn out, and so you can see the hole is wallered out in there, quite a bit larger than the post that sticks out of the fuel tank. And I'll probably use this bushing on another 441 Arctic build I'm using, and probably end up ordering another one of these kits for the other pieces like this in it for that fuel tank bushing. But as you can see, the fuel tank bushing fit in there perfectly. I lubricated it a little bit with some Deep Creep, which is an excellent penetrating fluid. Might have made it too greasy. Cleaned it up a little bit, and it's just right in there. And you can actually see that the post sticks up just a little bit, like a tight shirt on a cold night. You can just barely see the post coming through there. So, but it appears to hold the body of the saw and the Fuel tank, very stiff. There's hardly any flex there, which is nice. That's what I want. If sometimes I run a 34-inch bar on this saw with a skip tooth, so it's nice to have the ability to move that bar around without flexing the saw too much. And I just want to say thank you to West Coast Saws, and I appreciate you guys doing these innovations for the saws that we have today, but they work out good for us guys who really love the 441. Excellent saw in my opinion. Runs very strong. I've never really had a problem with it, even after buying one for $20 out of a junkyard. So thanks guys.